Now off screen, I've gone ahead and dragged and dropped the HandleClicks class onto each of the cubes in the scene. So if I select, for example, cube 1, you can see from the object inspector that we have the HandleClicks class script attached. Now I'm going to bring in MonoDevelop to implement that class. So bring that into MonoDevelop here, and you can see that we have the HandleClicks class, and it's pretty much a standard MonoBehavior derived class. But what I need to do first is to include a new namespace, specifically the event systems namespace, because that includes relations to all the objects that we need to use, in particular the event objects. So I'm going to insert a new line here and choose using Unity Engine dot, and from this list I can choose event systems. So from the code completion dialog we have the event systems option. I'm going to select that, and then at the end of the line terminate it with a semicolon. Now here on the HandleClicks class, by default we get update and start, but I don't need either of these events, so I'm going to remove them completely. And then what we are left with is a pretty blank class here. Now the event systems namespace includes a range of different interfaces that we can use, like class inheritance, to derive our classes from those interfaces to support particular functionality that Unity recognizes. So after MonoBehavior, I'm going to insert a comma and choose iPointerClickHandler. And from the code completion dialog, you can see we have the iPointerClickHandler right at the top of that list. Notice that beneath it, there are other options that we could choose to support different types of events. But in this case, I'm just going to be handling pointer clicks. So I'm going to select the pointer click handler here. And now having selected that, I could go ahead and press Ctrl S to save the code. But in doing so, I will get a compilation error. Now the reason for that is because the iPointerClickHandler class contains definitions for particular functions, and it's important for us to handle or implement those functions inside our class here, so that Unity can guarantee that all the functionality supported by that interface is implemented by our class. In particular, we need to support the function onPointerClick, which is going to be called automatically by Unity when the pointer click happens to the object. So I'm going to choose public and then void and onPointerClick, and it accepts a single argument. That argument is pointer event data. This is a data structure that contains information about the click event. So I'm going to choose pointer event data, and the name of the argument is going to be event data here, like so. Now when this event happens, I want to print a message to the console that prints the name of the selected object. To do that, I'm going to choose debug.log, and the text is going to say you clicked. I'm going to use a colon and then plus, and I need to get the name of the object that is selected, and this data is included inside the event data structure. So I'm going to select that data structure and press event data dot, and the variable pointer press contains a reference to the game object in the scene that was selected. So I'm going to choose pointer press and then choose dot and name to print the name of that object, and press Ctrl S on the keyboard to save that code. I'm going to close MonoDevelop here and minimize it and return back to the Unity engine, and Unity will go ahead and compile that code. You can see that there from the project panel. Now I'm going to press play on the toolbar and switch to the console panel and clear out any warnings in there. And now when I click on, for example, this cube, you can see it says you clicked cube 3. If I click this one, you clicked cube 1, and here cube 2. So we have the ability to detect which cube we select, and that is very good. But in addition to this, there is additional flexibility that comes from handling clicks in this way. We can also link this functionality up to the visual scripting system. Let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to clear the console here and select, for example, this cube here. Now with this cube selected, I can choose component, then I can choose event and select the component event trigger. And when I do this, an event trigger component is added here in the object inspector. But I can click the add new event type button to handle a pointer click event. So I'm going to click that, and from the context menu choose pointer click. When the pointer click event happens, I can piece together different actions that should happen when the click happens, and I can do this all through the Object Inspector without writing a single line of code. So in this case, let's say that when this cube is selected, I want it to disappear. So to do that, I'm going to move down to the pointer click section and click the plus icon here. So I'm going to select the plus icon, and when I do that, a new entry is added. I have to define the object to which the functionality should actually happen. In this case, I want this cube, this one, to disappear. So I'm going to drag and drop cube 01 into this slot here. And based on that, I can choose which function and functionality I want to run on the object. So I'm going to click on that drop-down list, and we get a range of different components that we can choose. In this case, I want to make the object disappear, so I'm going to select Game Object, and off screen there is the option for Set Active. I'm going to choose that option, Set Active. And here we have a checkbox to indicate whether Set Active should be true or false. In this case, because I want to hide the object, Set Active should be false, so I'm going to leave this checkbox unticked here. And what I'm going to do now is press play on the toolbar and click on this object. And when I do so, it disappears because it executes this code here inside the event trigger. And in addition to that, it runs the pointer click function and prints the name of the cube as well. So we have this ability that by using the event system, we can handle clicks on objects and perform functionality both through code and through scripting inside the Object Inspector. That's very powerful and flexible.